Hello there YouTube, the Hugo Rat here with my friend Sam, and he came 39th at the Cambridge Regional last week.
Which is terrible.
Yeah.
Let's clarify, it is terrible.
Yeah, he came worse than me. Just by one, but he came worse than me.
Yeah, but you were actually playing a legitimate deck.
That's true, and this is basically his deck profile from it. This is his deskbots, okay?
I'd just like to clarify, it's not really a profile so much as a discussion. It's a really interesting theme, I've been playing it for quite a long time. And it's working out where to go next with it. And if there's anybody out there who's actually interested in the deck, this is a good rundown of it.
Okay guys, here's Sam's deck profile. Over to you, Sam.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with the pretty simple despot stuff. So you've got one despot 1, card's really good but it clogs like hell if you actually have it in your hand. You never want to see it in your hand. You want to pitch it to grave with something else or special summon it with something else. We've got 3 despot 2. So this is one of the cards dedicated searches. When it's special summon you can add yourself a despot card from your deck to your hand, and then it gives a plus 500 boost to all machine type monsters you control, apart from itself. So it makes a lot of OTKs, but it also generates you like pretty nutty advantage in some of your plays. The card is pretty good. You've got despot 3, so this tutors you despots from deck, special summons them. So quite often you're going to go 3 into 2 to get your search, but you can go like 3 into 1 as part of your advantage plays, or you can go 3 into 5 to deal with back row threats. Like, it's really versatile. And then it has, during either player's turn, an effect that can activate during damage calculation that pluses a despot monster you control by 500 attack and defense for each despot card you currently control. So, like, it's pretty insane. It can plus some of your cards up to like easily OTKs on their own, and because it can activate in damage calc, it can outtime a lot of other things. Like, it can outtime Honest. Your opponent, if you've got a card that's bigger than your opponent already, your opponent goes to drop Honest on it, and you can chain 3, and they just kind of get completely wrecked by it.
If you chain 3, wouldn't their monsters gain it? Sorry, you activate 3 first, and then
I misspoke. You would not chain 3. You'd activate 3 after Honest resolves, because then you have the priority window.
And that's Alan. And that's Alan.
Alan really enjoyed WCQ Silent Hill, so.
Anyway, let's carry on with this.
On to the next sort of 3. We've got 3 Despot 4. This card it's absolutely nuts. Like, the biggest mistake I made with this deck was thinking that this card wasn't good when it came out. And it was mostly because I'd misread parts of it.
Do you wanna know why? Because you're a scrub.
It's coming from you. You placed 1 spot above me with BA.
It's still better than you though. And to be fair, what were my matchups? I had 3 Monarch matchups, and one of them I drew against.
Okay, I had 2 Monarch matchups, and one of them I drew against just because it was slow. But my Monarch matchup is amazing.
Exactly. You have a good
matchup against everything except Cosmo is amazing, and apparently Glad Beasts. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, no, like 4 it's a pretty nutty card. Basically, it can activate once per battle, so your opponent will often misread it, think it's once per turn, and then run into it a second time and completely fuck themselves with it. Once per battle, during damage calculation, so again it outtimes things like Honest. You can drop any Despot monster from your deck, apart from Despot 4, and it gains 500 attack and defense for each level that monster had. So you use it to beat over things. It really makes your Monarch matchup, because you can summon this and just punch over whatever they board. The second after the effect is what makes it completely nuts though. So when you destroy a monster by battle with Despot 4, you can special summon 2 Despot monsters with different levels from your hand or graveyard in defense position. So like, it goes drop 1 from deck, go +2. You can summon like a 2, get another +1 off it. You can summon a 6, and there's like a really nutty play I'll show you later with 6 and 4. Obviously there's a limitation on the card. You can't deal battle damage for the rest of the turn after you activate the effect.
That's fine though.
So it kind of ruins some of your OTK plays if you need to use it, but if you're just going for control plays, the card is completely dumb. Last of our 3 offs for the Despot monsters is Despot 5. So now we're getting into the pendulum scales. 5 is one of your 10 scales. Scale is 1 to 10. It's a ridiculously wide scale. Pendulum effect is just the standard pendulum. It can't pendulum summon things except despots.
They all have that
limitation that wide scales normally have, apart from magicians. It's monster effects though. So when it's normal or special summoned, you can pop a spell or trap card on the field. So that applies to both your spell and trap cards and your opponent's. So you can pop your own pendulum scales for advantage, or you can pop your opponent's back row, so you can go like 3 into 5 at the start of a play. If you know you're going to be able to generate an OTK board, and you can deal with their back row by summoning 5. If it's destroyed in the pendulum zone, when it hits the extra deck, you can special a despot monster from your graveyard. That's an only once per turn effect, the other effect isn't. So this is really done with some of the combo plays with the deck's pseudo boss monster, which I'll show you later. But obviously dealing with back row is really nice, and that special summon effect gets really, really stupid. And there is the fact that it's also a level 5 machine type monster. I think we can all see where that's going.
No, I don't know where. We'll find out later.
You will find out later. Then we're on to the despots that I'm not running at 3 of.
Yep.
So we've got 2 Despot 6. This card...
Because that's not... It doesn't look like he's easy to gun at all.
He's alright. He's a really, really good combo piece.
He's the swap despot. He's desk swap.
Pretty much. He is the riot police of the deck. No, the card is a really, really nice combo piece, and an awful card to have any other time. Like, it's really good. It's your 1 scale that matches Despot 5. When it's destroyed in Pendulum Zone, you can add a Despot card from your graveyard to your hand, which, on face value, looks a lot worse than Despot 5, but if you can add something like 3 and then normal summon it for more advantage, then it can get pretty stupid. And when it's normal special summons, you can change the battle position of something of a monster on the board. It's a kind of underwhelming effect until you see how it plays in combos.
Does it target?
It does target, yeah.
Oh, disappointing.
It is disappointing, but it doesn't really matter, because normally what you want to do is
just beat everything anyway.
Get over and get Despot 4, drop Despot 6 with Despot 4, and if you've got another 4 in hand or grave, then you special 6, special 4, and they summon in defense of 4, and then 6 changes 4 to attack, and then you can trigger a second 4 effect, and so you've just gone from 1 monster to a +5 on that board.
Yep.
And it's completely nuts. And if you can get like a 2 off in that summon chain, like at the end of that summon, then you get even more advantage. If you get like a 2 and a 1, then you can go into more advantage plays later. Like it gets really dumb. But like I said, the card is terrible if it's all you have, because it only gains. I forgot this with Despot 5. Both 5 and 6 gain 500 attack for each Despot in your extra deck. Each Despot face up in your extra deck, I should say. So they don't plus themselves that high. And like this doesn't have. There's nothing I really like. This only goes into 2 cards in my extra deck if I have it, and I need to have something else with it. I might run Beatrice, and then I've got something this can actually go into, but for now I'm just running it as a 2 because it's useful to have around. It's a good combo.
Would Beatrice really help you with it though?
You can drop Despot 1 with Beatrice, so you don't like draw into it. You've got it engraved, and then you can run Virgil in your extra deck and actually make a Virgil in the deck anyway. I'm considering Beatrice, but I'm not running it at the moment. For the other 2 Pendulum monsters, we've got Despot 7 and Despot 8. They're another matching pair like 5 and 6, so 8 is your 1 scale, 7 is your 10 scale. They both have the same pendulum effect as the others. You can't pendulum summon things except Despots. Again, I'm running each of these as 2-ofs. Again, they're kind of dead if you see them on their own. They're really dead if you see them on their own.
I like how the horror in both pairs, the horror of the pair is the lower scale.
Yeah, it is pretty neat like that actually. But yeah, these cards make ridiculously good late games. They don't have the same utility when they're in the pendulum zone as the others, because you can pop the others for advantage. But what they do is they plus themselves massively. Like your late game, if you can go 3 into one of these 2, you've got a game on board. They plus themselves by 500 attack for each Despot in your graveyard. So they get ridiculously high. Like if you have a grindy game against Monarchs, which this deck quite often does.
Later on you just summon it and go, come at me bro.
Stalling out, and you go for like 3 into 7, and you just go, okay, so I punch you for 8k piercing. So yeah, they each have a battle relevant effect. 7 has piercing battle damage, and 8 has the ability to make 2 attacks per battle. Attack 2 monsters each battle phase. So they have battle relevant effects, and then each of them stops something else happening to Despots. So Despot 8 stops are the Despot cards being targeted by card effects, and Despot 7 stops them being targeted for attacks. They are worded in such a way that if you have 2 of them on the board, they soft block things, so if you've got like a 7 and a 7, you've got a Warlock.
That's quite cool.
It is pretty cool. Like, early game, if you can get one of these out and you haven't got any graveyard investment and then dupe it, you can stall your opponent out until you can see better plays, but normally you don't want to see them on their own, you want to see them late game when you're just going to make pushes.
So if you really want to be mean, get all 4 on the field and say, come at me.
Pretty much. I mean, like, they drop a Regeki and you're like, oh, damn, now I've got to pendulum summon them back next turn for the same plus. That rounds out the actual Despot main deck lineup. Last card is essentially a pseudo-Despot at this point, Birdman. I don't think it needs explanation, to be honest, but level 3 tuners in this deck are pretty nutty. Like, a 7 and a level 3 tuner makes you your boss monster, makes you so much advantage.
So next I like Birdbot?
You joke.
I joke, but I know, I've seen it work.
It's so good. It's such a good card in the deck. Like, there's a lot of setups that can get you where level 3 tuners are a lot better. So on the same subject, I'm running currently 2 Ghost Ogre, and suddenly the deck got pricey.
Oh yeah. Well, not anymore.
Well, not as pricey. It was pricey when I bought them. Wasn't it, Drayton?
Yeah, I wonder who bought them off. And then the reprint was announced.
I don't care. I don't want the gold. This is so much prettier.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody needs to know what Ghost Ogre does, but having reactive hand traps is nice, and having a tutorable level 3 tuner in this deck is nuts.
Yeah.
As far as more hand traps go, I'm running 2 Maxi. I know cards on the decline a little bit, but if I can drop a Maxi at the right time with my opponent's combos,
people still want it though.
I go all the plus, and then I stop them doing stuff. I've got 1 Veiler, which is gold, and it makes me sad.
Get a better one. Get Platinum.
Shut up. Yeah. Yeah, right.
Ultra rare?
Yeah, I'll do that. But yeah, 1 Veiler. I kind of like it to be 2, but it gets kind of cloggy. It doesn't combo in the deck as much as the other cards. Speaking of combos, Menko. Card is dumb. Like, other people are running this card because it stops battles. I'm running this card because it stops battles, and it's a machine type monster with 100 attack.
So dupe.
So I go special Menko in my opponent's turn, like completely run out their plays, and then just go dupe my turn, make Geigen, get search, get 3, summon 3, get advantage. Some builds are running this at 3. At 3 it gets pretty cloggy. I don't ever really want to dupe 3 of them. Like, I never want to see 3 of them on the board anyway, so running them at 2 is absolutely fine. Like, I spoke to a couple of other players at regionals who were running Despot, and they were saying how cloggy running 3 Menko was. On the subject, 3 dupe, it doesn't need explanation. Almost my entire deck is a dupe target. Every single Despot card is 500 attack and defense. They quite often plus themselves, but duping like a 3 which doesn't plus itself, that's ridiculous. Duping a 2, sorry. Duping a 3 can also be pretty good. Duping a Menko, like, there's a lot of things you can do with this. You can dupe a 5 and make an infinity off that, and pop 2 back row in the process. It's a really good card. I'm running 3 Twin Twisters because I just really don't like back row.
Oh, the back row hate.
Because sometimes I just want to go, yeah, I'm going to OTK you now. I'm going to OTK you out of nowhere. I've got nothing on board. Here's game. And Twin Twisters can help me do that. And I don't like seeing Solemn Strike in this deck. Not one bit.
I don't think anyone likes seeing Solemn Strike in any deck.
No, but other things can play around it. Whereas if somebody strikes my 3 at the start of my combo and I just go,
that's the end of it.
Well, that's the end of my turn. Bye, guys. This is a card that I haven't seen anybody else running yet. I'm running 2 Transmodify. So I waver on this card.
How helpful was it at the regionals?
I didn't see it that often. Most of the time when I saw it, it was pretty good. I usually side out one of them when I'm siding, because it's not necessary to the combos, but it makes some really stupid plays. Like, just like a sample, if I have these 3 cards in my hand, then I can make some really ridiculously dumb plays, because I can go 3 into 1, and then I can transmodify the 1 into a 2 for 1 search.
Well, it's not, but it'll play.
If I can find my 2s. Deck's in order, it should be easy.
Yeah.
then I go search off 2. It kind of does matter what you search, because I can make an infinity off this play pretty easy, but I'm just going to like assume you can search whatever you want. You can then dupe the 2, which gets you another 2 searches, chain 1's effect, which will special summon itself from grave, and you've got 10 synchro on board here, which makes you your deck's boss monster. I say boss monster, it makes you more advantage basically. Like the deck makes a lot of advantage, and that's
Or you can make anywhere from 1 to 10 basically.
well, anywhere from 4 to 10.
Yeah.
No, 3 to 10 actually, but I'm not running 3s because 3s are bad. There aren't any, like the only decent level 3 is Tatsunoko, and then I lose hand advantage for things I don't care about.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, the only problem with this card is that once you get, like, some of your deadest hands are the hands where you just open pendulum monsters, and you can't transmog pendulums.
No, you can't.
But you can, say, transmog a 3 into a 4 and make stupid plays, or transmog a 4 into a 5 and pop a back row and make an infinity. Occasionally you can transmog a 2 into a 3 to make a game.
To make a game.
It's pretty much what it does, but like, it's a really good card. It can be a bit cloggy sometimes, but it's been good enough in enough situations that it's worth me keeping it in. To go with the Ghost Ogres, I'm running the 1E telly, because like I said, searching a level 3 tuner from the deck is nuts.
Oh, you don't have an opinion?
1 Regeki. It's Regeki. If I want to go for an OTK and I can drop a Regeki.
Regeki and drop Regeki and drop back row? Come out, get rid of the back row, then you just win.
Yeah, like Regeki, Twin Twisters and a 3. Look at me, I've got game.
Pretty much, unless they have something like Battle Fade or something like that, which would be really unlikely.
That's alright. Once I've got 9, that's not even a problem.
True, yeah. At that point, and piercing.
No, 9 is the one that stops anything activating during my opponent's during the battle phase.
And just make it superly high attack and just beat over.
I know. I'd be like, nah, you don't get a battle fader. Phew. So yeah, then we've got it's a reasonably light trap lineup. Most of it's going to make sense. Vanities, it's really good, and also it deals with my bad matchups because Cosmo can get really blown out by this card at the right time, and a lot of other things can
especially
too.
if you've already infinityed and then do that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like they can still drop a Regeki, and I've got to deal with that, but they have more trouble getting around it. And if you can drop that as they banish off one of their summons, they've gone net minus, and they've probably lost that turn. And then I've got a bottomless and a time space. I was running treacherous, but vanities is good enough in the deck, and time space is good enough in the deck that I'd rather devote more space to those cards and not have a treacherous. And like bottomless and time space both blow out Draco Pals. This has a pretty decent time dealing with Monarchs, and this has a pretty decent time dealing with Cosmo. So all round, it rounds out like a pretty decent lineup. Just gonna run through the extra deck quickly. A lot of it's self-explanatory. So first of all, going down in the synchros, we've got Despot Jet. This is the deck's pseudo boss monster.
It's a pencil case.
It is a pencil case. He is right. It is a pencil case. It is a 500 attack and defense, level 10 synchro monster.
Best thing ever. Why not Leo?
It's also the only common in my extra deck. But it gains 500 attack and defense for each Despot card on the field, including itself, so it gets pretty big pretty fast.
Yeah.
And then it has 2 effects. You can only use one of them per turn, but you don't care. So you can target a Despot card you control, and then you can destroy it and special a Despot monster from your deck. So say you've got a 5 on board, you pop 5, you special a 2 from deck, you special a 2 from grave, you go 2 searches. You then make an infinity, because you search 2 5s and go 5.
Yep.
Pendulum 2 5s, pop 2 back row, make infinity. And that's just off this card, and you've still got the 2 2s on board, which means that infinity is at 3,700.
Just to increase all monsters, all machines. That's quite cool. I didn't realise.
I make massive infinities, and my opponent goes, "I wish I could feed over that shit."
And then they can't.
The other effect, I don't use it that much, but sometimes it is relevant. You can pop a Despot card you control to pop a face-up card on the field.
It's a Scrap Dragon.
And that does target, unfortunately. Most of the time if I'm going to do that, I don't do it on my opponent's stuff, I do it on my own stuff. I'll pop like a 5 and a 6.
Just to do other things.
Just to go, get all my cards. Going down in levels, Trish.
Because Trish.
Who the fuck needs an explanation of Trish? And then this is what I really like about this deck. In Pepe format, this deck was running the same horrendous plays that Pepe was running, and that was really nice because it's running Ignister. And this is where level 3s come in, because level 3s make your jet really easy, but they also make this really easy because you go get A5 and you're quite often going to have a 5 because it's such a good card. A5 and A Birdman, or A5 and Ghost Ogre, or even like a 7 and a Despot 1. It's going to make you an Ignister, and then that Ignister is going to pop one of your Pendulum monsters quite often, like a 5, and get you a summon, and then it's going to spin away something your opponent controls, non-targeting. Who doesn't love Ignister, basically? Card is really good if you...
People who don't use it.
That's true. It's really good if you can make it, though.
Yeah.
I've got another level 8 in the extra deck. This is wavered between being Scarlight, Scrap Dragon, and this. But going into
Pro Stardust.
Pro Stardust at the moment, though, seriously, like, I remember watching the Prague commentary and thinking, what the fuck are you guys talking about? This card is amazing. It blows out Wavering Eyes, it blows out Regeki, it blows out Dark Destroyer.
Does anyone have it? Does anyone else have it?
Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, like,
let's carry on.
It blows out so much stuff your opponent's going to play. Like, they drop a Regeki or a Dark Hole to deal with your board, and you've got like an Infinity and a Stardust, and you're just like, no, not going to happen. And they've got to put even more work into getting rid of your board. Like, the card is really strong in this format, and it hasn't been that strong for a long time. And like, going into this, I was like, seriously, I'm running a Stardust. I was even running a Super Stardust. I was running a promo Stardust.
That's just terrible, dude.
It's an Ultra now, I'm happy with that, but like...
It's better than
a promo, yeah.
It's not, at least it's not the Legendary Collection Ultra, it's a good Ultra.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, like, I was running a Stardust, and I felt like such a scrub, but it put in so much work when I saw it. And I'm running Clearwing, my first 7. This card blows out Monarchs, it blows out Cosmo. If you don't know what it does, look it up, I'm not reading you the effect. But basically, I've got 2 pocket negations on board, and a massive attack bonus.
If I remember, I'll put the effect in the description.
That might be worth
But I probably won't.
You probably won't, because you're an awful YouTuber.
Or I might just try and put it on the screen for you. We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out in the editing process.
I was going to say, it depends how much work he wants to put in. Second 7 is Meteor Burst. You remember Meteor Burst from the structure deck. Quite often I'm going to use it to special a 5 and make an Infinity. That's pretty much how it goes. Like, that play I showed you earlier, if I can't get a 3 out, but I can still get a 1 out and transmod that, then I can make a Meteor Burst, and then I can special a 5 and make an Infinity. Pops and back row doing it, so, you know, it's not going to argue with it. And also, it stops things like, it can stop Cosmo, it can stop, like, Gradle and BA, and basically anything that wants to activate during the battle phase. It can also stop hand traps, which is nice.
Yep.
Then we have Metaphys Horus, that's my first and only 6. This card is really nuts because I can get off 2 of the 3 possible effects normally when I summon it. Because if I summon it with a 1 and a 5, then I've got off the negate effect and yeah, I've got the effect and pendulum. So just to run through what it does in case you guys don't remember, when it's synchro summoned, you can activate one of these. You can activate any number of these effects based on the types of cards used to summon it. So it's got a normal monster effect, which I forget what it even does. It is unaffected by other card effects this turn. Basically, it's not very good. And it's got an effect monster effect, which is targeting one other face-up card on the field and negating that card's effect. So that can be pretty nuts. And the pendulum monster effect makes your opponent choose a monster they control and give it to you, but it can't attack. It doesn't go back to them. I'm not arguing with that. I like doing that because I can go like 5-1, make Metaphys Horus, steal my opponent's plays, be like, oh, you've only got a Dark Destroyer on board. I like that this effect doesn't target. Then we've got a Nat Beast.
Because screw pendulums?
Because screw everything. Because screw Regeki and Dark Hole. Go Nat Beast Infinity and be like,
come at me, bro.
Come at me. My Infinity pretty much always gets blown out by Regeki, followed by followed by Wavering Eyes for 4.
Yeah.
That's what blows out my Infinity, and I just go, okay, mill 4? Nah, that ain't happening, bro.
Come at me, bro.
And obviously, like, a 4 and a 1 makes you this, and their cards you're going to see all the time.
Yeah, it's simply enough to get out.
It's easy, it's ridiculously easy to get out of the deck. It's irritating that none of my level 3s can make it, because none of them are, but I can live with it, because one's pretty easy to get. Then we have Herald of the Arclight. I don't make this card that much anymore. I used to when I'd go 3 into 1 and sink it, but most of the time I'd rather go for advantage plays now.
I'm pretty sure I saw you summon it at the regional though.
I think I did summon it once. I think I regretted it, to be honest. I think I would have preferred to go 3 into 2 get search. Yeah, the card's like the card's pretty good. It's been out for a while. You only use the negation effect, and it can blow out BA and stuff because it banishes the stuff they mill, but you don't care that much. Then we're into the Xyz, Wrath. You've seen my trap line up. You know what I'm running. Abyss Dweller, which I'm kind of considering dropping, because like Abyss Dweller and Castel, which is the other extra, they're both really good cards, but I don't see them very often because I don't make rank 4s that often.
Because why would you?
Gigant, because it's 2 level 4 machines. Oh, like that's pretty much everything I'd be making a 4 with anyway. In fact, that is everything I'd be making a 4 with, apart.
Or Menko.
Yeah, Menko is a machine though. I don't care. I don't like, and then it gets me a search for half my deck from hand or from deck or graveyard. So like, it's a pretty good card, and it gets plussed by Despot 2. So like, I can make that a 28 and beat over Monarchs with it.
I'm gonna run out of space in 3 minutes.
Oh, I'll speed up then. Got a Nova Infinity. We've already talked about it. And then I'm not going to show you the whole side deck because most of it was suboptimal. Most of it was made to deal with Cosmo. Admittedly, so is all this stuff. But I've realised that my way to play around Cosmo is to try and beat them before they can make advantage. They pretty much ignore them. I'm running 2 Iron Wall. They blow out Cosmo, but they also blow out System Down, which is going to completely wreck you. And then I run this, because this is fun, and this puts in so much work every time I side it in.
And it says screw Monarchs.
It says screw Monarchs, screw Cosmo, screw pretty much everything that I can't stop. Also, who doesn't want another Dark Hole? I know I'm not running Dark Hole, but that's because this bosses me more than Dark Hole does.
And you have Raigeki, so what does it matter?
But yeah, like I can drop this and nuke the board and summon these 2, or I can have one of these in hand and drop it on my opponent's board. And then even then I can still blow out my opponent's board without having to summon, and then banish this off to search the other. So like, it's a pretty versatile mini engine just to deal with stuff.
If you have to summon one to your opponent's field, try to make sure that they always get the weaker one.
Yeah, so they get the Gamma CL, you get the Humongous. That's why I'm running those 2, because they're the smallest ones, they're the easiest to beat over, and they beat, and you know, Humongous beats over Gamma CL. That's all that really matters. So yeah, like, my main problem playing this deck was that I bricked a lot, and also got a really bad Cosmo matchup. I've worked out how to deal with my Cosmo matchup, and to deal with the bricking, I've got a couple of different engines I could run. A lot of people have been running Giant Rat. Yes, I'm not even joking. I know it's awful, but a lot of people are running it.
It seems slow.
It is really slow, and that's why I don't like it. I don't have a destruction outlet to deal with it, so I really don't want to be running it. Another engine option. One of these might be a pseudo space in case I mill it, because the other half of this is triple reasoning. Okay, do you see how many levels I'm running in this deck?
All the levels.
All the levels.
Except for 10, 11, 12.
I'm not running 9 yet.
9. Yeah, 9.
But yeah, like I'm running pretty much as, well, I think I am running as many levels as Cosmo. Only problem with this is you want to take out your hand traps when you're playing.
Yeah.
So
cool one, you get Vela.
What I've been planning on is taking out a lot of my reactive plays, a lot of my traps, and a lot of my hand traps, and running this in the main deck in their place for game 1. Steal game 1 with this, and then I'm in a much better position going into game 2 where I can side in my reactive plays. The engine I'm liking most, however, is this. You've probably seen it, you might have seen it in Speedride Phantom, but it actually does a lot more than that, because like this Teratop searches Utaka Tenborg, it summons itself. It can also search me the Menkos that I'm already running, so I can set myself up for later. And like a Teratop and a Despot 3 makes me a jet, because I go special Teratop, special Utaka Tenborg. Neither of these require my normal summon, and I can still do other things. And like I can still run triple reasoning alongside that. So I find that it locks me out of a lot less games than Chicken Game does, and it's a lot more relevant to the deck, because these are all machines. None of them are dupable, but I don't care. Like Menko's dupable, it searches me Menko. And if I bounce them with Birdman passes.
And on that note, we're going to go because I have 20 seconds left. I'll upload this. We'll say goodbye now, and let us know your thoughts. Bye.